going on, y'all? It's your boy Gibbons here,
And we'll see.
and welcome to another episode of the Acromis Podcast, episode 110. If you are listening, it means that you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or even Spotify. If you are watching our very tired faces, it can only mean one thing. You're watching us on YouTube. So here's what I want you to do. Three things. I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Here's why. The next time you hop on YouTube and you're scrolling down your feed, you keep refreshing the page. You want to see some of the most motivational, inspirational content out there that is truly real. You will find the Acromis podcast, and most of all, we'll see.
It's free to do so. You're not going to find anything as genuine and as authentic as what we provide to you. This is the place to be. This is where you're going to grow the most. We're going to continue to let you know each and every single week. This is your first time. We appreciate you for stopping by. If you could be so kind to just like our content, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, we can guarantee you each week you're going to learn something new that's going to help you in your life along the way.
100% we'll see. What a week it has been, and I don't even say that lightly. It's been a wild week. I don't know what you guys are going through out there in the community. I know there's just been a lot of stuff going on in the news. Prayers out to Ohio, prayers out to those who are still in the Ukraine fighting, and everywhere around the world where there might be conflict or issues or drama. It just seems to be palpable right now. It seems like we're about to that cup is about to overflow, man. But we're still here, we're still alive, we're still breathing. It's yet another week with you, with us. So I mean, goodness, this combination of working hard and working smart that we covered last week, I think we kind of did both this week. I think we did a wicked combination of both. Like if we were taking shots, we took at least five of each. And I'm talking that was some Everclear type stuff, man. It's been quite the week. And even before we hopped on this, we sat and we thought, man, do we do this another day? Do we come back? But as we've done this now 110 weeks straight, we've just known that this is just therapeutic, and it's always a pleasure to come to you guys and let you guys know exactly what is on our minds and how we can somehow connect with you. Regardless what you're going through, we're going to be right here for you and help you along the way. So we'll see. I really did enjoy that episode last week. We really did learn the difference about working hard versus working smart, delegating, being a leader. There's a lot, at least for me, that I was able to take into it this week. Typically, I have my notes as I always do. But what I've done in the past is I would have things numbered from 1 to like 15 or 20. And I noticed that when I had that, I would never reach the 15 or 20 mark. Heck, sometimes I wouldn't even reach 11 or 12 because I had to get done with those other tasks and go all the way to completion. And I felt like if my list was so long, I'd say, oh, let me jump down here. I'll come back to this. And then some things just didn't get done. So what I did this past week, working hard and working smart, is I limited my list to 10. Right. So I do my top 10 for the day because that seems to be the range that I can get through in a day in an efficient and effective manner. So I was able to do that. And then, if there are any other items that I needed to hit that day that are close to the end, and if I do have any time, I'll fit it in. If not, there's always tomorrow. Even when I go home, we'll see now, I don't check my phone. I don't check my email. I completely disconnect from that. And that has helped me a little bit. It's helped me to realize that there is a separation between work and life. That's sort of that work-life balance that you're always hearing. And it's liberating. It really is. It feels like I'm letting that other side of me go, and now the home me is what's there, the real me, if you will, instead of the 9 to 5 me. And I think it's great for my wife, myself, my mental health too. So those of you guys who out there who have been working your fingers to the bone, working extremely hard, but you might not have been working as smart as you could have been, just try out a technique. Maybe limit some of the activities you have to do in a day. If they're, get the most important things done early. And then once you're home, once you're done, you're done. Some people work from home. Look, once that 5 o'clock hour hits, laptop closed, go live life. That's the one thing I've had to be very strict with myself on. We'll see. So I think that episode's great, and I'm hoping anybody else out there in our community who watched it felt the same way.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes in life, you just need a reminder of things you may already know, but usually when you get it, it's right when you need it, it's right on time. I think that reminder was very helpful for us. We know it was helpful for those who listen in, those who shared with us how they felt about it. We really appreciate just kind of reflecting on, those kind of moments in life and knowing when to work smart versus working hard. Sometimes makes all the difference. It's been that kind of a week for the both of us, and we sure maybe it's been that kind of week for you too. And we're glad that you were able to take some tips and learn from that. And we're ready to give you some more this week too.
Absolutely, man. And you know what? Even from this past week, which kind of leads us in our conversation today, if you guys have been, tuning in to Acromis Fitness at all, which of course you have, because you love everything Acromis, you would have noticed, there have been some workout videos that I posted, whether it was on our IG page or even our podcast page here on YouTube, just some clips, some really quick YouTube hits that you guys can watch and digest rather quickly, because some of them is, they're about 5 to 8 seconds long. But in those videos, you would see that I was actually facing my fear. And it wasn't necessarily the fear of, will I fail in front of hundreds if not thousands of people and still post it. It wasn't that at all. It was actually the amount of weight that I was using. So as you guys have been seeing, if you have been looking, I am now on this journey, which was, I can't say sponsored by the 21-3 method, but inspired by it for sure. And I am still on the journey. I would say I'm at my 17th day now, where I am going to the gym and I am pushing my limits. And this is a little different than what I'm used to, because typically if I'm in the gym and I'm lifting heavy, I would always have a spotter, even if they're not touching the weight at all. They'll be around me, and it's a mental thing. If somebody's around you and you're lifting, immediately your brain, your adrenaline, all that gets going, and you could just rip through it. But in a lot of these videos, I come really close to failure, and it may not look like that because of the speed of my repetitions, but I am really doing that out of fear, because there is no, we'll see if that barbell that I was using to bench press, I think it was one of the latest videos I put out there, if that barbell slipped out of my hand, it could crush my larynx. I could have internal bleeding. There's so many different things that can happen. Same thing with the squatting. My knee could pop out of place. As you guys know, I broke my leg a couple of years ago, so there's no telling when that might go again. For deadlifts, I might, blow out my back or pull something. As you guys know, I have scoliosis. So each and every one of those exercises, those main compound lifts that we all talk about, they present a different issue for me, and I'm sure for you guys out there, whoever is involved in fitness in general. But with going through the 21-3 method and where I am with day 17 now, it is allowing me day by day to face my fear, the fear that I might fail in front of thousands, in front of myself. I may sustain an injury that can last as long as my life does. All of those things play a role in my mind. And it's crazy, we'll see. And this is kind of how we get into our episode today, how fear fuels confidence and success. The fear is what's pushing me to increase my weight. The fear is what's pushing me to get the weight off of my body, to re-rack it, to unrack it, to get through that moment. Because I know that I have nowhere to come back from. I have no way to get back to where I was before that barbell is unracked. Once that bench press bar is in the air and it's in my hands and there's no one behind me, that's all me. If it slips, I'm gone. So I know out of fear that I have to accomplish this goal that I have. There's no excuse. I have to push this. I don't care how heavy it is. I don't even care if in the middle of me pushing, I rip a tendon or I sprain something. As long as I get it off of me, I know that I faced my fear and I did something I've never done before. And that is something that is so encouraging to me and allows me to continue to have success because of the confidence that I'm building over time. If I'm able to see that I'm bench pressing 275 or 315, or better yet, 330, if I'm doing that with relative ease, for me, I'm like, well, damn, last year I could not do this. I was
Mhm.
afraid to. Probably could have, but it was just the thought of nobody being behind me, me grabbing onto that bar and trying to push up and struggling, somebody seeing me struggling and coming and running to help me out. And then now I'm freaking out myself. Oh God, I'm never going to do this again because look, I just failed. I don't have it in me. It's not meant for me. Let me change my regimen. Let me not go to the gym. You see how that snowball starts to pick up a little bit, that
Yeah.
snowball of doubt. So I kill it. I kill it each and every time. Whenever I'm squatting, whenever I'm benching, whenever I'm deadlifting, or any exercise I do, I make sure that I do it to the fullest extent. Whatever my regimen says is what I'm going to do. If for whatever reason, of course, from a safety standpoint, if I can't if I can't finish the entire exercise with the repetition that I have written down, I'll just decrease the weight. Right. The goal is to make sure that I finish what I start. So as I continue to go through, we'll see with all these different exercises and nobody there to back me up while I'm doing it, it puts me in a spot where I must succeed without any sort of failure. So it allows me to trust myself. It allows me to build the confidence that I need so that eventually I'm meeting those goals. So that eventually I know in August I'll be able to bench press close to 450 pounds. I would not have been able to do that last year, not even close. And imagine if that time I failed, I never touched another barbell. Imagine where I would not be. And you can apply this to everything in your life that you're going through right now. If you have a talent, you have an incredible ability to speak, you can sing, you can play a musical instrument like nobody else on this earth can. You need to take advantage of those talents. You need to take advantage of it. The fact that you know what it is and you've seen it and you have not done anything with it, that's completely on you. There has to be a time in this life when you decide that you are not going to let fear conquer your life, that you're not going to let fear be the thing that holds you back from fulfilling your destiny, from fulfilling your purpose. So make sure that instead of using that fear to hold you back, you're using it as fuel to build that confidence so that eventually you'll get towards the success that you're going for. We'll see. I mean, this story for me was something that was motivating, and the fact that you can see that cycle in so many different things that we do, whether it's professionally, personally, whatever. I think being able to allow our audience to understand that path and understand exactly what that looks like for them, they can then use that in their own lives.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you mentioned. Just speaking on fear, and fear in itself is something we all experience, and it's almost like, trying to learn how to have just the right amount of it. Um, that's something that you can harness to make you better if you can, or if you can't, then it can overwhelm you too. Um, I think we do need that in our lives to kind of remind us that we are alive. I feel like if you um, just embrace it for what it is, come to terms, accept that you are uh, dealing with some sort of adversity that's generating that fear, and being willing to face it is going can only make you better. The outcome of whatever it is, because with fear sometimes comes failure. With failure comes experience, um, and with experience, you learn. All right, so ultimately, if it is something that you fear for something that's the first time that you're encountering it, if you encounter it again, you may not be as fearful as you was before. You may at least have a starting point and know how you're gonna deal or to address it, right? We all have those moments where it just sometimes feel like it's getting the best of us. But I feel like if you're still alive and you're still here to fight that good fight, then you're okay. You're doing just well enough to get you through whatever that is. And it's okay to accept it for what it is. It's okay to not allow it to stop you in your growth, right? Like knowing that whatever it is, you're better than it. Um, Everyone has their own kind of fears in different aspects, like Jay mentioned. Albeit, personal, something emotional, physical, financial, just whatever it is that you feel like is causing it. I think it's good to identify it, try to find that root cause, and then be able to come up with reasonable ways of how you can address it, right? Maybe working smart to work on those issues, applying that. What do you think about that, Jay? Just kind of applying that, right? So if we can just kind of pull it together and just accept like um what's happening. Don't live in a place of denial, because I think sometimes denial really kind of sets you back with that too when dealing with fear, and just say, nah, that's not the case, or make excuses for things that you know is true. You can only set yourself back, and that could do more harm than help, really. Um, so me, I know for myself, gotten to a place in my life where I took a long time to be able to admit to myself when I am afraid and got something that is very real that I'm dealing with.
Mm.
Because if I don't look at it that way, then how can I expect to be able to address it? Right? How can you address anything that's really bothersome to you if you're not afraid to address it for what it is? And then, harness your experiences to kind of help you overcome it, right? I feel like you're the most alive when you do notice those fears, when you do know that they're there and they're in the back of your mind. And in some cases, it's driven pinpoint to anxiety, like maybe some people who have a fear of giving presentations in front of people, like, something like as simple as that. Some people who have a God given talent of a voice, but just afraid to sing because they're afraid of what people are going to think or feel about them. They're petrified at the idea of that. Maybe petrified at the idea of just doing karaoke. When you never know, it could be that one promoter in the crowd who's just, here's your golden voice, and there you have it, and then you get picked up, right? It's just so many different types of fears out there, or just kind of feeling like you're not where you're at in life, and that and it's eating at you, and getting the best of you, because the unknown of where you like to go and not knowing where you're headed sometimes could be just too much. But you still have your life, you are still here, and where you are, as I was taught quite a bit ago, is where you're supposed to be. And I do believe that's to be true. And if you can take that for what it is, face value, and accept and embrace it, you can maybe realize that you hold the keys to deciding the destination that's going to be yours and where you're going to go. And that's just kind of life. That is kind of what fear is. Uh, Fear can be the best friend you never knew you needed, right? Maybe don't always want around, or maybe occasionally you can kick it with, but like you're better for it. You're better when it's there. And I kind of feel like I thrive better with it around. And I know some people would rather not deal with it, but just kind of think about some of those fears you've had in your life and reflect on them, and you've probably overcome them, and just think about it. The outcome, it wasn't as bad as maybe you thought it was going to be, whatever it was. It wasn't an end all be all. And I say that because you're still here. The only time fear really wins to me, Jay, is when you give up.
Mm.
When you give up completely. You just kind of cancel yourself out. You don't try. You walk away from it. Um, and you just submit to it. And I believe in hope. So as long as you have hope, you can overcome that fear. It just starts with believing in you. And hopefully this is what we're reminding you of today. Just believing in yourself, believe in knowing what you're capable of, what you've accomplished, what you've done, reflecting on that to know who you are, where you desire to go, and ultimately to allow yourself to be in a position where you can work towards conquering that fear. And then there'll be another one around the corner waiting for you. But get through them one at a time. Don't allow it to turn into this big bad monster from consolidating all your fears into one big beast. Chop that thing down and take it piece by piece, man.
Mm.
That's where my take is on it, Jay.
That's well said. We'll see. And you made it perfectly clear, man. There is going to be more things out there that you fear, but you got to get up that first step on that ladder, right? It takes that one step, and then all of a sudden, a few steps later, as you continue to conquer your fear, you find yourself at the top. So It's all about continuing to grow. It's all about facing that fear each and every day, each and every time you have an opportunity to do so. Eventually, you just grow callous to the fact that you're no longer afraid of fear itself. You know, you actually find it silly that you weren't able to do what you are doing now in the past. Some people find that regrettable because they're like, "Damn, I wish I had time." But as you said, we'll see you are where you are supposed to be. So you guys, we hope that you continue to listen to what we're saying and take heed to our words and put action into the examples that we've given to you today. And you know, of course, we want to turn it over to you because you are part of this community, because you're growing, because you do matter. We want to understand, how do you use fear to create success for yourself in your own life? The best response will be featured in a new episode of the Acromas podcast, as well as a YouTube short. So whether it's in a comment or a DM or anything, a text, it doesn't matter. However you guys interact with us with that question, we will make sure that we put that out there for everyone to see. Again, we're a community. We're all growing. We're all in a very vulnerable state right now, not just around this country, but around this world. So just keep hanging in there, hanging strong. There's a purpose for you to fulfill. That's why you're still here. So remain here, remain where you're supposed to be. If you are listening to us, it means that you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you can hear one. If you're seeing our faces, it means you're watching on YouTube. And before you do these three things, I'm going to need to have a second with you to let you know that if you were here before and you still have no idea how to spell us out, for one, I am really ashamed of this because we have been around now for 110 straight weeks. 110 straight. You want to talk about consistency and progress, stuff that we preach every single week. You want to talk about goal setting. We've accomplished all of that. This is what we do. This is where we are, and we're here to serve you. So without further ado, ACHROMOUS. You can find us wherever you can hear a podcast. As I mentioned before, if you are watching, I need you to do these three things now. If you did not do it at the beginning of this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It not only helps out the channel, but it helps you out as well. Because when you're on YouTube and you're scrolling down that feed and you're looking for an episode that will help you turn that fear that you have inside of your heart into confidence and eventual success, you will be looking at none other than the 110th episode of the Acromas podcast. And most of all, we'll see,
It's free to do so. And as Jay said, we've given you 110 different reasons why each week consistently. For those that don't know, that's over 2.5 years just about that we've been doing this consistently. Have we not earned that like from you? Have we not earned you to turn on that notification bell and to share the content, to pass that along? Have this been something that we're not earning it and we haven't won you over yet? But guess what? We're going to keep trying each and every single week to do that. So I'm hoping that today is that day that you make that change, that you show us that our hard effort and working and just what we're giving out to you for the betterment of you and for the world, because we just want to be a better place to live in, and we want people to enjoy life that we have all together in this lifetime. So please do so. Like our content, turn on the notification bell, make sure that you share. Each one, teach one is our motto here. And really, we hope that you walk away knowing how to deal with some of that fear that you may have, that you probably may have not had an opportunity to address on episode 110.
Perfectly said. We'll see. Look, you guys got 7 days before you see our faces again. And within those days, here's what I want you guys to do, right? We'll help you out as we always do. We'll get really specific with you. Monday, if you're listening to this on Sunday, Monday, I want you to understand what your fears are. I want you to write them down, list them out, put them on paper, make them real, right? Wednesday, face them, do them. Do whatever you need to do to push past it. And I guarantee you that Friday or before we meet again, you will realize the success that you were looking for. It's that simple. We want you to enjoy this week. Go out there, face your fears. And until next Sunday, It's your boy, J.H. Gibbons.
We'll see.